You use the quadratic formula when you've got a quadratic equation to solve that you can't factorise. And to use a quadratic formula, you need to be dead familiar with the standard format for quadratic equations. Here it is. You start with an x squared term, then an x term, then a number term, and it's always equal to 0. And it needs to be in this form, because otherwise your a, b and c won't make sense. And here is the lovely formula. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Beautiful. And here's an example. Now, it's a good idea to jot down the values of a, b and c. But before we do that, let's just check it's in the standard format. So we've got an x squared term, then an x term, number term, equal to 0. That's all fine. So what's a equal? Well, a is the number before x squared, but we haven't got one, so it must be 1x squared. So a equals 1. B equals this number here, 2. And c equals minus 3. Okay, now off we go. X equals minus b minus 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 2 squared, minus 4ac. Okay, so it's 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 3. And it's all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. Lots of people seem to put an a instead of 2a, so don't forget, it's all over 2a. Don't be one of those silly people. Okay, now what does this square root sign give us? There's 2 squared, which is 4, and then inside this bracket we've got 4 times 1, which is 4, times minus 3, so that's minus 12. So we've got minus 12. So we need to be really careful with those minus signs. Really, really careful, actually. Actually, really, really, really careful. And so on. And that's all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So now in the square root sign, we've got 4 minus minus 12. So that's 4 plus 12, which is 16. And the square root of 16 is 4. Now we're going to have two solutions to this. We're going to have minus 2 plus 4 over 2 and minus 2 minus 4 over 2. So if it's plus 4, we've got minus 2 plus 4, which is 2 over 2, and that equals 1. Or we're going to have minus 2 minus 4, so that's minus 6 over 2, and that equals minus 3. So there are two solutions, 1 or minus 3. Okay, another example. Solve this. Give your solutions to 2 decimal places. Now, when you're in the exam, you might get a quadratic equation to solve, and you need to decide whether to factorise it, or complete the square, or use the formula. Well, a good rule of thumb is to use the formula when you're told that the solutions are not whole numbers. And here, you're told to give your solutions to 2 decimal places, so they can't be whole numbers. So the formula's your best bet. So, let's make sure it's in the standard format. X squared term, x term, number term, equal to 0. Now, a equals 3. B equals minus 2, and C equals minus 7. So we've got 2 minus signs here, so we're on high alert. Alright, now into the formula. X equals minus B. So we've got minus minus 2, which is plus 2. Then plus or minus the square root of B squared, so that's minus 2 squared, minus 4AC, so that's 4 times A, which is 3, times C, which is minus 7, all over 2a, so that's 2 times 3. Okay, what's in the square root sign? We've got minus 2 squared. Well, minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. And then we've got, in the bracket, we've got 4 times 3, which is 12, times minus 7. Well, 12 times 7 is 84, times minus 7 is minus 84. So we've got minus 84. And that's over 6. So now you've got 4 minus minus 84, so that's plus 84. 4 plus 84 is 88, so it's root 88. And now you can't do anything with this, so it's time to get your calculator out. And you do 2 plus root 88 over 6, and that gives you that when you've rounded to 2 decimal places. And then you do 2 minus root 88 over 6, and that gives you that when you've rounded to 2 decimal places. So they are your 2 solutions. So that's it on the quadratic formula. It's basically just a question of plugging in the numbers, but you do need loads of practice so you're really comfortable actually using it. And remember to take extra special care with minus signs.